talking about how useless this actually was. I got my high school diploma, Regents diploma, and with that, no one ever cared. My daughter did not, and no one cared. So what happened? Well, now New York State, Kathy Hochul, has decided that the thing we have to work on right now is Regents diploma. That's critical. We're going to fix that now. I hear that I may have an echo on the internet, so I apologize if I do. But the number one issue that I have to recognize here is they focused on fixing literally the thing that does not matter. Right now, New York State spends the most possible on education, over $30,000, over $30,000 per student. With that in mind, we are 24th in graduation rate, 23rd in math scores, 13th in reading, not bad, but we spend the most and are mediocre. So what is the answer? The answer is fix the Regents diploma. I'm not joking. Their worry was, well, there's a stigma of lesser degrees. Stigma of lesser degrees. Are you kidding me? We have a low graduation rate and we are mediocre in education across the country, and we spend over $30,000 per student, and your answer is, well, there's a stigma if you don't have a Regents diploma. What? Let me tell you what has never happened ever. All right. Let me see, Mr. Sharpe. Look at you and your job application. Let me see here. Oh, says here that you have a Regents diploma from New York State. You're hired. That has never happened ever. Let's work on that. Then they said, the Board of Regents in New York State, which, by the way, is a complete and total waste of time and energy, should go away tomorrow. I spoke about this 8 years ago. End it tomorrow. Just disband it as zero value. They said, well, you know what? We have to make sure that we retain our high standards and high coursework. We're 24th. That's not high. There's 50 states. We just made the top half. Just made it. That's not high standards. Then they said, well, wait a minute. We have to worry about these advanced designations. Nobody cares. I have an idea. Why don't we worry about fixing education in general? How about we worry about our math scores being at 23rd out of 50, or 51 if you count DC? How about that? When my youngest daughter was dealing with these horrible lockdowns, when she was dealing with it, she was in elementary school. I pulled her out. I homeschooled her. Yes. I homeschooled her for about 2 years. Wow. Wow, she must have fallen behind being out of school for 2 years. She was ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve. She was better being homeschooled than she was in school. Now, the sad part is I still had to pay New York City taxes for the school, and I had to pay the homeschooler. So I got double taxed. And my daughter was better off without the school. So the problem is, let's fix the Regents diploma, because that'll fix it. And let's not fix it because the system sucks. No. Let's fix it because of stigma. So we in New York State are still worried about virtue signaling. With all the stuff that's going on, we are worried about virtue signaling. Our kids are suffering. We have mediocre schools, literally mediocre schools, 23rd and 24th out of 50. That's right in the middle. If we were 25th, right in the middle, right? 23rd, 24th. So we're one hair over middle. That's where we are. And that's according to U.S. News and World Report. I'm not making that up. Their numbers. And with all of that happening, and for years, people packing up and leaving, families breaking up, for years of these degrees being utterly useless, for years, their answer is, you know what we need? Change the Regents diploma. Why am I so bothered by this? I said, Larry, it's a small thing. Why are you bothered by this? I'm going to tell you why. Because we spend tens of billions of dollars in New York State dollars for our education system that is mediocre. That is not changed at all. One of the major reasons why people move to a neighborhood is a school district, is education. One of the major reasons why people stay in an area is because they believe that there is some place for their family or their friends or themselves to grow. The problem is that's not this state. And they know it. And they do nothing to fix it, except window dressing. I'm tired of window dressing. That is my problem. That's why I'm so upset. Am I wrong? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Radio. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. It is Larry Sharpe here on WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Radio. So happy to have you here with me this afternoon. 585-346-3000. For the break, I was getting a little upset about the education system in New York State, and then instead of trying to fix it, doing more window dressing. And it bothers me. I mean, my kids are getting older now. One of them is already in college. But I would like my kids to want to stay in New York State. I would like to stay in New York State. I would like most people who are in New York State to want to stay here. But many of them aren't. And I get it. I'm not mad at them. I'm disappointed. I would like you to stay, but I'm not mad at you. I get it. The state's collapsing and we're doing nothing about it. And the frustration is we always have money for the wrong things. We always have something that we're doing that you can say, hey, look, someone's done something. But then it never works because it isn't any actual change. And how many times, for those of you who listen to me often, have been following me since 2018, how many times do I have to actually give you a policy change that would work so you'll actually pick it up one day and go, wait a minute, that could actually work. And here's the problem. It's going to sound horrible, but you know I'm right when I say it. When politicians and bureaucrats look at a policy, whatever that issue is, change this, change that, change the other thing, whatever it is, the first thing they think of is,
Keith.
how am I going to get paid? I'm not getting paid. I can't give jobs away. Well, that's terrible. I don't want to do that. Thanks, Larry, but no. I don't want to fix things. I'm here to grift. And that part drives me nuts. Let me grab a call if I could. Keith, how are you, sir?
We should all be upset. I did listen closely to everything you said, and as far as I could tell, I agreed with everything you say. Unfortunately, people do not get upset, and that is the death of outrage. So let's go through this. They said
Yes.
the teaching ranks changed during the Vietnam War. These young men with their deferments entered the ranks of the teachers, and the traditional American teaching class, the middle-aged school marms, they eventually retired. You and I will start to disagree. I say a lot of these young men were liberals, and they started poisoning our American education system in the 60s with their liberal outlook on life. They got those deferments. They didn't want to go to NAM, so they became teachers, and then the rest is sad history so far as American education. So let me just ask, what about seat time? When I lived truly in Rochester, I would see the kids hitting the streets. That phrase, this very time of the day, 1:15 in the afternoon. How can you be learning anything when you don't have proper seat time, when you're let loose on those would-be mean streets at 1:15 in the afternoon? And secondly, I don't understand. We're having this always evolving high technology, AI, and so on. A lot of people today across the spectrum are lucky if they have true 8th grade educations. Where is our future working class coming from with large masses of the uneducated? I don't understand that. American society seems to chug right along, even though we have many people who cannot do these high-tech jobs, and yet, again, we don't collapse as a country. So to bring it full circle, how is this being managed? How are these uneducated finding jobs? Where are these companies finding their true high-tech applicants? And what are we supposed to do with god-awful present-day education, or regents or not be damned? We've got to bring this full circle, and no one's working on it.
You gave me a lot as usual, Keith. Let me try to go through a bunch of them if I could. Currently in the system, education system, there are hardly any men in the education, particularly K through 12, hardly any. It's something like 80 to 85% female. So most of the K through 12 education is filled with women, and less men are going in. Your point about it being changed, I would agree, but I'm not sure. Well, I guess yes. All right. I think it has become more liberal, yes, but I don't think it's become because of liberalism necessarily. I think it's because of it being feminized. And I'm not using that as an insult. That's not as an insult. That's as a descriptor. When you have so many women in an industry, I'm talking 80 to 90%, depending upon where you go, by default, it's going to become more feminine, right? The same with the opposite. Construction is very masculine, right? That's, again, not an insult, a descriptor. So it has become heavily feminized because of so many women being in it. When that happens, you wind up marginalizing the other sex. You see that heavily in construction for women. You do see that. And you see it also in education for men and for boys. So boys begin to struggle. And I think that's one of the issues you find. There are many, obviously, but I'm touching your piece. So I think it has happened, but I'm not sure it was because of liberalism. It might have been, but I think it's more because of gender than anything else. Education is very feminized. Again, heavily dominated by women, not just in the teaching, but also now in administration. Also, I see you see it constantly. So that's piece one. The idea of seat time. I think it's valuable. However, I think hands-on is more important because that goes to your second piece. How are we going to make things happen with AI and all those things? Where's the working class? I'm going to tell you where it is. It's immigrants, because we have broken our system. To your point, you are correct. We have broken our system to where most of the young men are lost. You see it everywhere. They aren't able to actually be good tradesmen because the system stops them from being a tradesman. The system says you're dumb or bad if you try to become a tradesman. Clearly not true, but the system does say that. Most of the school systems say that. Most of the teachers say that. Most guidance counselors say that. Most parents go, oh no, get a college education, right? They do that. They don't say work with your hands and do the hard work. They don't say that. And what ends up happening? A bunch of young men go into the trades later in life, 30s, 40s. The average tradesman in New York State is over 50. Again, love my 50-year-olds. I'm over 50, so I love them. The point is, the average should be 30s, right? The guys in the 50s shouldn't still have a hammer in their hand. They should be telling the 30-year-olds where to hammer. But in today's New York State, the 50-year-old has a hammer in his hand, and he shouldn't anymore. He should be advising, managing, owning, and he's not. And that's a problem. So immigrants are filling that role that you talked about. Immigrants are becoming our working class. And again, not against immigrants, but against immigrants filling jobs that America should be doing. Yes, right? If there are certain jobs Americans don't want to do, I get it. You can bring immigrants for that. I get it. That's how every country works, not just America. Every country works that way. But if we weren't so dumb in breaking our system, American boys, some girls too, but heavily trades are male dominated. Heavily, a lot of boys would do it. A lot of boys like working with their hands. They like fixing things, and they can make good money, and they don't do it. So I think that is a key part to what you're talking about. The AI piece, the education piece. Again, most of those are immigrants. Most of those come from either East Asia or Eastern Europeans, or even South Asians, right? Indian, Pakistani, a lot of those words. So a lot of them are coming in. You're seeing it happen all the time. So I hope I at least answered your questions. And I think you're right. Our system's broken. And sadly, to your point, the only guy who's actually giving you ideas on how to fix this system is the guy you're talking to right now. That's the guy who's been talking about it since 2018. I had new rules in 2022. And the answer the Democrats gave me was, let's create rules and laws in New York State so that your party's destroyed. And the Republican answer was, when you fix those, we will sue you off the ballot to ensure that nothing will be changed. So, yes, but I don't stop. I keep going. I'm hoping people will listen to me. I'm hoping eventually things will change. I am the optimist. And Keith, you've been mad at me before and called me an optimist. Guilty as charged, my friend. Guilty as charged. I am. I'm trying to fix things. I haven't given up hope yet. I mean, maybe one day I will, but not yet. So as always, you gave me a lot. I hope I at least was able to cover most of it. I want to grab a couple of comments that are perfect timing. Sam popped in. He says, I'm 44, going to a trade school in August. Yes. Sam, thank you. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Right? And Sam, if I remember right, your story, you used to be a teacher. So if you can tell me, am I right about the feminization of schools? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. I'm happy to be wrong if I am. He goes on to say it's his fourth career change in his life. High-tech jobs don't exist in large numbers in upstate New York. Yeah, unless you're working for the military-industrial complex. And sadly, to Keith's point, most of those people there, they bring those workers in from other states or other countries. Also true. So I agree. Mike Voss is watching. He says, we desperately need tradesmen. Our infrastructure is crumbling, even as income is climbing. Agreed. And most of you don't know this. The average American across the country, obviously this is skewed by where you live, makes under 50K a year. So like 40-something thousand dollars a year, whatever. That's like the average in that area. The average tradesman makes over 80. Now, again, skewed by where you live in the country, but the average tradesman makes double what the average American makes. Think about that, right? This is true. Now, if we have to wait till you're 40 or 30 to become a tradesman, why didn't you do it when you were 20, 18? Yeah. Or now immigrants come in and get that money, right? Why aren't Americans also getting it? So, yeah. Sam, thank you for following up. Sam says, very correct on the feminization of schools, especially to an elementary school. Growing up, I had several male teachers. Now I see whole schools with 0 male teachers and admins. Yes, it is in some places 90% female. It's huge. So I think that's a critical piece. And again, not an insult, descriptor. Am I wrong? What do you think about it? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, WYSL Rochester, New York. Sharpe Radio. Back with your calls and more of your texts. I see it. I will deal with the chat after the break.
Welcome, Olean.
WYSL.
Proud to be your local talk station for great conservative all-American programming.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Partly cloudy, still on the cool side. Could be a little touch of fog. Temps in the 40s and low 50s. A much, much nicer day coming up on Wednesday with sun and clouds and milder into the low to mid 70s. Thursday, low 80s with some increasing clouds. Just a slight chance of a shower later Thursday afternoon. I'm Rich Cadilia, WYSL.
The wait is over. See the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue at Ralph Honda. Exciting performance with sustainability. The Prologue makes your drive eco-responsible and effortless. Drive one today at Ralph Honda, West Ridge Road, and online at Ralph Honda.
Fill your outside spaces with comfortable, superior quality Amish-built furniture and buildings from Springwater Amish Workshop, featuring wooden outdoor furniture built from premium-grade lumber, double kiln-dried, ready for you to stain, or they can do it for you. They feature a large selection of low-maintenance outdoor poly and hickory pieces as well. Picnic tables, benches, gliders, rockers, porch swings, settees, and more. A gazebo or picnic pavilion adds to summer fun in your yard. And right now, Springwater Amish Workshop has a wonderful selection of styles and sizes. Plus, there are great deals on all of their in-stock gazebos. Their storage buildings come in a variety of styles, sizes, sidings, and colors. Building and gazebo pricing includes free delivery and setup within 40 miles of Springwater to your prepared site. For any structure, you can rent to own with no credit check or finance Foundation Finance Company subject to credit approval or receive 3% discount when you pay by check. Springwater Amish Workshop, Mill Street, Route 15, Springwater. Shop Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to 3.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Baseball, hot dogs, and the American flag. They're all part of the rich fabric that makes our country great. Show your American spirit by purchasing your flag from the Stars and Stripes flag store today. When you do, you are supporting critically needed services for local veterans at the Veterans Outreach Center. Let's show our veterans that we care by placing our nation's symbol on the porch of every house in our community. The Stars and Stripes flag store, 783 South Avenue.
Are skyrocketing costs causing you to look at your budget and pinching your wallet? Your auto, home, and business insurance doesn't need to follow suit. Get a fair and honest rate comparison with the knowledgeable staff at the Long Agency, your local insurance agent. Contact us at 585-658-3342 or longagency.com. Proudly representing Erie Insurance. Long Agency, insurance worth having.
At AirQuip, we are your home comfort specialists, and you'll be comfortable with this special offer too. During the Train Unstoppable event, get up to $650 in instant rebates and special financing for 36 months on qualifying Train equipment. Upgrade your home's comfort with a high-efficiency system from Train. Subject to credit approval, see airquipheating.com for complete eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions.
AirQuip Heating and Air.
Open Door mission is
emergency housing and meals,
clothing and food,
addiction recovery,
housing for women and their kids,
permanent housing,
life transformation.
Now we need your help.
Okay, we got Craig Miles on the line. You're welcome, last
For a new
spot.
car can be overwhelming. At Ralph Honda, we make it easy. With finance and lease options on every 2024 model and plenty of inventory to choose from, it's a great time to drive a new Honda. Come see for yourself. Ralph Honda on Westridge Road.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. So glad that you're with me this afternoon. You know, I've been talking about fixing this state, fixing education, all the money we're spending, people being in the trades, all these things. And the problem is, and it's what Keith said, people aren't trying to fix it. This is fixable. And in certain ways, some people are getting it. I've had a bunch of people reach out to me saying, Larry, have you seen the stats on Gen Z? And I have. The younger people, 18, 17, 20-year-olds, they're figuring it out. They're saying, this college thing isn't the greatest thing in the world. Maybe I should just go work and go build something. They're seeing it. And they're starting to push away even from Ivy League schools, push away from college, and get in the trades. It is a better way of living for many of them. Again, I want to be clear. It's not like everybody should be a tradesman, but a lot of people should. A lot of people should, and we've been stopping them. Let me grab a call if I could. It is Craig. Craig, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Larry?
What's going on?
Well, I'm depressed as always here in New York at the way that things seem to be going. You talk about how we need people to fix stuff, but it seems like the status quo wins at every turn here in New York. And I was just calling to see, with this election coming up, is that going to make a difference? Will the status quo fall? Is the first question, and then the second question is, does it need to, or you kind of led into this with the Gen Zers right now? Are we going to have a market correction and the grifters will just realize that, or does it have to be fixed, or is it some sort of a combination?
I think it's two things. One, sadly, elections work when there is someone at the top. And it may seem weird. It's not like someone has to be running things necessarily at the top, but there's got to be a face to it. Every single popular movement has someone on top of it going, I'm the face, look at me. I'm the face. Whether they're running it or not, whether they're, smart or not, I hope they're smart. But the most important piece is someone's got to be at top. I wanted that person to be me. Well, it was not, but it may be somebody. I hope it's someone, Craig. I don't think it's me, sadly. Maybe one day it will be me. I can hope. But it's got to be somebody, right? For those of you libertarians, it was the Ron Paul revolution. For those of you who are Greens, it was Ralph Nader back in the 2000s. Those of you more independent, it was Ross Perot in the 90s, right? It's been different individuals who've been at the front of the movement, right? Back in the 60s, MLK, right? So there's always someone who's the face of the movement. We don't have a good one yet. At least one that's not working as well as it could. So if we have one of those with an election victory, I think we have a shot at making change because we have to build infrastructure. But the second piece is, will there be a market correction? It's happening already. Sadly, what winds up happening is those people leave. That's the problem. They go to greener pastures. So if I'm making money and doing well, why would I put up in a state that's bad and crushing me? I pack up and I leave. You see it throughout New York City. Tons of businesses just packing up and leaving. Even large businesses leaving, like Walgreens and Dwayne Reed, packing up and leaving. Target, just leaving. So yes, there can be a course correction, but it won't be in a state like New York. New York has to physically change. You might go, wait a minute, Larry, aren't these people getting it, right? They see it's failing. Yes, of course they do. Most people who are at the head of New York State, they know it's collapsing. They're 100% aware of it. They want to grift while the grifting's good. They know that the Roman Empire is burning. They want to take everything before the barbarians sack it. That's what they care about. So there has to be some hope, number one, then a victory. Those two things have to happen. I'm working on it, Craig. I don't know how far I can go.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm impatient. Like you said, you've been talking about this stuff for 8 years. It's hard to. And you mentioned Ron Paul and you mentioned Nader, and those guys are flashes in the pan, But then I feel like the momentum doesn't carry through. I don't know if people get complacent, or you see it with Trump now, like he was going to be the savior. I guess things haven't gotten quite bad enough to make everybody fight hard enough, long enough. Maybe
there's
that's
a second piece though too, and the second piece of that is, if you're Ron Paul, why do you keep going? You're in your 70s and now 80s. Like, shouldn't someone else pick up the baton? I'm done. Ralph Nader got destroyed. If you're a Green Party person, he got just destroyed. So many reasons. He was like a hero for consumer protection, and then after he ran, he was just slaughtered. Ross Perot was threatened and just, it was terrible. They go, why would I bother doing that? They're wealthy people who have other lives, so they quit. I get it. I'm the only idiot who keeps doing this. I should quit too, but I keep doing it. We need more idiots like me, Craig, who just keep staying and getting punished.
I think you found your 2028, 26, whatever, your next campaign slogan. More idiots like me.
There we go. 2026, Larry Sharpe, governor, more idiots like me. There we go. I love it. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I do love that. So yes. But yeah, I think that's an issue. We have to
Roger.
work on this, right? We have to work on getting people to stay and to keep fighting. And it's challenging. It is very hard to do. People want to give up, and I get it. I feel like I want to give up too. Not like I'm always up and ready to do this. I sometimes feel like I want to give up too. Absolutely. Let me grab one more call if I could. Roger, how are you, sir?
Hey. Okay.
What's going on?
First, good. I would suggest that you tell your daughters, go to school overseas for free. Some countries will even pay you to go to school. Because my thing is like this. We got conned into from the 80s all the way up to going to college. Then we get, what's that word? Then we get pummeled with all this debt.
Yep.
And then we say, hey, government, since you guys conned us into going to college, can you forgive our debt? No.
Yep.
Okay. So now Generation Z is going, okay, we'll go and adopt trades. Those who want to go to college, if the only way to get it free is to go overseas. Make the American college system buckle and make them cry uncle until they'll go, okay, fine, we'll offer it for free. Yeah, but these colleges over here pay us to go to school. Okay, we'll offer that too. Okay.
Got it.
Also, I understand that. I think Massey knocked that Tucker interview out the park, and people are talking about he should run for president. I say no, because presidents are term limited. Okay. Mitch McConnell is about to, go to the other side, whatever that other side is. Okay. I think he should run for Senate. I think he should run for that seat. Okay. I think Paul should get up.
I wouldn't be unhappy if Massey was senator. I wouldn't be unhappy at all.
Yeah, and I think both of them should get out the Republican Party and be officially like in the Libertarian Party. You feel what I'm saying?
You're not going to see me argue against that.
Not be, hey, we're Libertarians in the Republican Party. No, just be Libertarians. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are.
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? So I think you
no
should
argument.
tell him that.
You are hitting it out the park today, Roger. I like it. I'm like yes, and yes. Absolutely. Look, I'm a fan of Massey. I know him. I saw him at the LP convention just last month. He'll be at Freedom Fest. I think he'll be at Freedom Fest. I think so. Yeah, he is actually going to be moderating the presidential debate at Freedom Fest July 11th. For those of you interested, you can go to freedomfest.com. It's in Vegas a month from now, and there will be a presidential debate held by the Free and Equal. They're actually doing the debate right now. We have Chase Oliver, Libertarian, Jill Stein, the Green, and the Constitution Party guy. Sadly, I've forgotten his name right now, but he's there also, guaranteed. Others are invited. We'll see who actually will show up. And Massey's going to be co-moderating that. So, yes, he's in the mix.
And get him out the Republican Party, put him in the Libertarian Party, and force him to be a senator.
I like it, my friend. Thank you for the call, Roger. I appreciate it.
All right, no doubt.
So Roger brings up a valid point. If we starve the college system, then they have to change. That's true. I think there's a valid piece of that. And I think it can work, because if you look right now, several states have dropped their requirement of having a college degree to be a state worker. There are many states that have a certain requirements, right, to become a state employee. A couple states dropped it. They're like, we can't get bodies. People aren't graduating college. They don't care anymore. And I think it's more and more. I completely agree. Paula says, I'm seeing younger and younger skilled tradesmen in my neck of the woods. Some Gen Z are getting it. They own their own businesses too. Reasonably priced service. There's hope for the future. You know, Paula, I agree. I think there's a shot. I think there is. But then I go to Josh, who says the opposite. There's a severe lack of younger people in the construction industry here in Ohio. Most under 40 are immigrant laborers. Yes, but I think this shift is coming, Josh. I think Paula is seeing the future, and it's coming to where you are now. It's taking time. I think it can work. I don't know, maybe I'm nuts. You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of your chat. I do see you. I'll get to you after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
While many local collision and repair shops have been gobbled up by national chains with their impersonal touch, Flower City Collision remains locally owned and operated. The shop was started by a local veteran who taught his son Zach the basics in customer service and providing customers value. Flower City doesn't work with a specific insurance company. They want to be your advocate. If you need a repair, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta. He will work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure you get the repair you need done right.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Sharpe Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy you're giving me a small chunk of your day. I've been talking about New York State education, number one, trying to fix our terrible system, trying to fix things to the best of our ability. Oh my God, it is tough. And people aren't doing it. There's the worst part. No one's trying to fix it. And people are getting sick. They're getting tired of it. And they want to leave. And I get it. Stryker says, once I retire, I'm moving out of New York State. This, I hear far too often. There are so many people in New York State that are waiting for one of three things to happen before they leave. One, retire. Right? They're here and they either have a company or they work for the state, one of the two, and they're trying to wait till they get retired so they can get their pension, pack up and leave. Terrible. I want people spending their retirement here in New York State. You got your pension, you got your retirement, awesome. You're going to spend it here. But we make an environment to where people don't want to. Again, I'm not mad at Stryker. I'm disappointed. I wish we had a better state. I wish he wanted to stay here and spend his retirement here. But he's like so many. He won't. Second reason, they're waiting for an elderly parent to pass. They're here because their old elderly parent or other family member they love and they care about, they either can't move or don't want to move. So they stay here until that happens. And then one of their kids, one of their elderly parent or family member passes away, they sell the house and they leave. Second thing. Third thing, waiting for the kids to graduate, either college or high school. Once their kids graduate college or high school, pack up and leave. Those are the three reasons why so many New Yorkers are still here. It's a matter of time. That's one reason why we keep losing over 300,000 New Yorkers every single year, because those things keep happening. Elderly family members pass, kids graduate, people retire, and they pack up and they leave. Absolutely. So I get it, Stryker, I do. Ross says, come down to Tennessee, Larry Sharpe. I had thought about moving to Tennessee. At one point, I was thinking about going to North Carolina. I was thinking about going to Charlotte. This was years ago. Then I started thinking maybe Chattanooga. It's in between two hubs. I'm a city boy, so I like being near cities. So I thought if I go to Chattanooga, I'm right in between Nashville and Atlanta. I thought maybe that's not bad. So I did think about Chattanooga, but I also been thinking recently about Nashua up in New Hampshire, because that's about an hour or so away from Boston. So maybe I am thinking, but right now, still here in New York, somehow punishing myself. Nicholas says, there's no other state in the union that knows or care about a New York State Regents diploma. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and no one cared that I had no such high school diploma. Correct. To be forward, nobody cares. So if you have a kid in school and their teacher or guidance counselor is going, well, you got to figure out what regents they get. No, you don't. It means nothing. The Board of Regents in New York State is a colossal waste of time, money, and energy. They should all go away tomorrow. They provide zero value. If they went away tomorrow, nobody would even notice. You wouldn't know they were gone. Colossal waste of time, money, and energy. All they do is make things worse. They are a curse and a scourge on New York State. They should all go away. No value whatsoever. Just go away. I hope that you understand what I mean. Yes. Gene says, don't schools get more federal dollars for students who go into college? Yes. One of the things I talked about years ago that Craig was talking about, one of the first things we must do is end our reliance on federal dollars. Last time I checked, New York State got over $6 billion, maybe it's 7 or 8 now, from the federal government. Huge chunk of the budget comes from the federal government. Well, how do they decide which schools get what gets what? It's by the strings they have attached, which are things like our kids going to college. It's called the placement percentage, right? What's your placement percentage? Placing kids into college. Well, going into trade school, that doesn't count. Starting a business doesn't count. Getting a job doesn't count. So why would I encourage kids to do that when I don't get paid? I get paid if kids go to college. So I'm pushing kids into college. So of course, you are correct. That is one of the reasons why that happens. David asks, what do you think about getting rid of teachers' unions? This could allow schools to force teachers to actually educate their kids in order to keep their paychecks. I am not anti-union. A lot of libertarians are, to be forward. A lot of libertarians are. I'm not. I think that unions are a part of the market like anything else. People should be able to gather together and, negotiate for pricing and salaries like anybody else. It should be a fair part of the market. They should be fighting on it. I have no problem with that. My issue with public sector unions is they negotiate with the wrong people. And let me explain what I mean by that. They negotiate with the governor. Well, it's not his money. They're all on the same team. That's not negotiating. In fact, now they're just buying each other off. Unions, public unions, I'm saying, not private. Private, separate. They negotiate with companies, all good. Public unions should negotiate with the taxpayer because that's whose money it is. So every one of their budgets, every one of their contracts should be voted on, literally through ballot initiatives across New York State or locally if it's local. So then the people decide, yeah, I'm happy paying my teachers more. Oh, no, I'm not. Or you got to do this or do that, or I'm not paying you, or whatever. Let the people negotiate with the unions. I'm good with unions, public unions. I'm fine with private unions anyway. I think more unions are probably a better idea. I'm not against unions at all. But public sector, they negotiate with the wrong people. They should negotiate with the people who are paying them, us. Negotiate with us. Teach my kid the way I want you to teach my kid, and you get paid. Life's good. You don't get paid. Or you lose your contract or whatever. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So I hope that's clear. So, Roger, the super chat. Thank you, Roger. Larry, Chattanooga has government-owned and operated broadband, the fastest in the country. You don't want to go to that socialist utopia, that do you, Larry? Valid point, Roger. Touche. One of the reasons why I wanted to go there was because it does have great internet. That was one of the reasons why I was. So yes, so there we go. You found a time when government did a good job. Okay, it does happen sometimes. Broken clock, Roger. Sometimes right. Yes, absolutely. Roger says, didn't know libertarians are anti-union. What about worker co-ops? No, some libertarians are because they see it as it's public sector unions are backed by the government. And that's why they're anti. If you can make sense, right? The idea is that it's government and then government unions. That's the concept why some libertarians are against unions because of that issue. I hope that makes sense as why some are. Libertarians are not against worker co-ops at all. Worker co-ops are wonderful as long as they're voluntary. You should be able to have ownership in whatever you want to have ownership in. You want to sell your company to your employees? Awesome. You want to start a co-op? Great. The only issue is you don't want it forced or mandated by government. So the reason why some libertarians are anti-union is because that they see public sector unions as an arm of the government and they don't like it. So I hope that was clear in that regard. I hope it was at least. So yes, thank you guys for all the comments. I appreciate so many comments. I agree. So let's see. Nate Snyder is watching. Each state has its own unique economy with unique trades. While one state may see an uptick in trade school graduates, another may see an uptick in wannabe social media influencers. Good point. And I think that's my point that I was bringing up earlier, what Craig was talking about. Will there be a market correction? I think yes, but it may go state to state. Nate, I think you are exactly correct. It may go state to state, right? So you may see people go to this area, that area, wherever they see it being more important. So yes. Valerie asks, says, Regents equals waste of taxpayer money. Correct. Yes. Waste, absolutely true. 100%. Yes. All righty. Shum says, school choice. This is what I talked about. If we're going to fund schools, it should be done the way other large, or I should say, countries do it. Norway, Singapore, they have a separate fund that funds schools. We could do it in New York State. We absolutely could do it in New York State. A separate fund called the New York State Social Trust. Put big business in there. They fund the schooling. The dollars follows the kid. Go where you want to go. Do what you want to do. School choice. It absolutely can work. Guys, I want to say thank you as always for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.